Okay, so it's Monday and I'm off. It's great to have Mondays off. But haven't had coffee yet. Didn't really sleep a lot last night, so I am not really feeling the greatest right now. I think the gallbladder thing is starting to act up because for the last few days I've had a little slight pain and in my stomach, and so I think I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and have that surgery done. But yeah, so that's kind of the circumstance. Couldn't sleep last night, just couldn't sleep. Have issues with sleeping sometimes. But anyhow, that's not what this video is about. It's not about my sleeping. It's not about the gallbladder thing. It's about what someone sent me. They sent me a link, and I'll put the link down in the description box below if I can remember. Because sometimes I get off of this and I go and get coffee, which I haven't had yet, and forget about it and just continue with my day. But anyway, so this girl, she's a college student, and she basically took a picture. She was at a football game. She took a picture, and in the background is so she's a white girl. In the background is a black guy. And she took a picture and she basically said, the gist of it was, help me find this person, right? She put a circle around the guy's face. She took several images, right? I think 3 images. And so her name is Sarah, and she says, everyone help me find this man I saw at the football game. I want to go on a date with him, right? And so when I read through this, I'm like, really? Like, not at her, but that's some of the responses that people were firing back at her. So it says, woke liberals shame white college student for wanting to date a black man. This is from a website called plurist.com. It was at Tennessee. She's a University of Tennessee student. And she shared the photo on social media, asking the internet to help track down her potential love interest. And she was subjected to racist remarks from Twitter users about her whiteness. Okay. So they're saying that she tweeted, and now this was October 7th of this year, so just a few days ago. Today's 14th, so 7 days ago. And she tweeted that she spotted him at the stadium and she wanted to go on a date with him. And the person that she took a picture of didn't even have a clue that she was even taking a picture. He was just, doing his thing. But the tweet quickly became viral, and there was it was retweeted 14,000 times and garnered more than 40,000 likes, right? There were some people who thought it was sweet. They thought it was romantic. Some people said it's a little creepy. Some people were saying, why are you putting the guy out there on blast like that? You're like broadcasting him to the world, his face. Maybe he doesn't want that. Those I understand, right? I understand. But then they said the harshest critics were racial in nature, and it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. And the reason why it doesn't surprise me is you have to see the picture, which is part of this thumbnail that I have. And that is the reason why it doesn't surprise me. You have a blonde girl, you have a black guy, he's a decent looking black guy, she's a decent looking white girl. And that's going to obviously piss people off. It just does. Why? Because of the simple fact that people want things the way that they want them, and it doesn't make sense. It's the culture. I talked about how there was an escape room here that basically minimalized the Underground Railroad, right? By naming a room that. And I said that, it's the culture. Not all white people, but there are some white people who were brought up to think that they're better than everybody else, and that's the culture. They literally don't have empathy. The ones that think like that don't have any empathy towards anyone else. There are also black people who were either born into a similar situation, or somewhere along the line events happened and it basically folks formed their own view and opinion about white people or whoever else, right? Now, I faced a whole lot of stupid stuff. A lot of stupid stuff. From white people, a little bit from black people. Maybe some Hispanic people, possibly. Yes, some Hispanic people back in Albuquerque. But I don't sit there and paint everybody the same, because black folks, we get upset when people paint us all the same. All being thugs, all being hood rats, all being baby mamas. We don't like that, and rightfully so. But you have to also put it into context, too, that not all white people are going to be racist or bigots. And then when you have someone who is probably not, when you go through her Twitter page, and I went through that, it seems like that she has a preference for black men, which is, again, totally fine. There are some people who disagree with that, don't like it, but that's their problem. But anyhow, this girl, most of her page seems pretty innocent and cool. Like, there's nothing on her page that stands out as ignorance. The only thing that is a little weird is, broadcasting the guy. Now, I think she probably thought, well, I have a few people on Twitter that are my friends and, people that I go to school with, so they may know who the guy is. And it probably was just a joke saying, hey, if you know who this guy is, like, hook me up type thing. Didn't intend for it to be viral, but it did go viral. And then you had a lot of people who basically were mostly black women. Now, this isn't the thing that's criticizing just black women. I'm not one of those people who sit here and dog black women or white people or whomever. I think it's stupid. It's stupid. I think if a black woman is with a white man, totally cool. The only time there's an issue is when you sit there and you dog black men in the same breath or look down on them. And I say the same thing about black dudes. If a black dude's dating a white chick, Asian chick, whatever the combination, don't have a problem with that. Same thing with Asian, whomever else. Just so long as you're not talking negative about your own group of people. Saying that they're trash or they're this or, black men, they need to grow up. They're just stupid. Because you're labeling every single individual, which is also very stupid. Doesn't make any type of sense. Right? You can't take your life experiences of butthurtness and bad choices and label that amongst everybody. Because, again, I don't do that in terms of the white people that were bigoted and racist over time and showed me who they were, or just on first glance. I don't paint all white people that way, because there are many that are not. In fact, I've had a lot of white folks that would support me before even black people have, to be honest with you. So you have some of these people on here who claim that they're woke. And what's funny is some of the most non-woke black folks are the ones that don't use that title, are the ones that actually do a tremendous amount to help the community. I mean, Tyler Perry is a good example of that. I don't necessarily consider him someone who talks about being woke, and yet he built a 330-acre movie studio, the biggest in the entire country. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't have to talk about it. He's about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. But these individuals are people who just sit at home and just type all day. They're sitting there trying to spew whatever facts they think that they have, which isn't true. And most of them are hypocrites, but I'll get to that in a second. So they're spewing all this stuff, and some of them are black dudes too. And they talk about how it's erasing black people and race mixing is going to destroy black folks. Meanwhile, most of them are partially mixed themselves. Right? But they don't want to talk about that because it doesn't fit their agenda. Again, you take a black person here, any black person here that's been in America for several generations, and you put them in a place like Haiti, for example, or you put them in a place like Nigeria, for example. And folks would look at you and say, yeah, I can tell you're definitely not from here. And there's a reason for that, because most of the black folks here have some sort of a mixture. Now, people will say, well, that was forced upon us. That's partially true. Absolutely. But if you look back in some of the earlier parts of, let's say, the 1900s, some of that wasn't necessarily forced. Now, there has been a tremendous amount of rapes and stuff like that has happened to black women. I'm not going to deny that. Absolutely. But there are a lot of people who were in relationships and hid them. right? A lot of people did. And that continued, right? The difference was black people back then got along with people who got along with them. I'm talking about my mom's generation. She was born in 1932. As long as you were cool with them and you weren't trying to start some stupid stuff and you weren't trying to hurt them, they didn't have an issue. A lot of them didn't have an issue with anybody, right? They also did not like black folks who are like the people that I'm about to mention, because they felt like they were pretty much creating a problem. There was a time when many black folks did not want to be that they did not want the spotlight on them. They wanted to just focus on what they were doing, work and that type of thing. It wasn't being stupid. And over time, we've seen generation after generation recently, especially nowadays, that are just completely stupid. And not just black folks, white folks, everybody. The whole internet generation is got some issues, right? But that's, again, not what this video is about. So there are people on here talking about how everyone is saying no, but if she would have circled a white guy, you'd be for it. Now, this is what a white girl says. Everyone is screaming that they want racism to end, but then all you turn around and act like this. Love is love. And then someone said, no, white people love is different. They kill everyone in their family when they love you, right? So just stupid stuff. This is a person who is trying to basically say this is dumb, you know, and instead of saying nothing or just saying, why would you know, put the guy on blast? People are sitting there talking about how this is wrong because it's race mixing in 2019. And then someone says a very stupid comment. Then you have someone says that we can't be racist. Someone says, no, ma'am, we are a dying race, no time to be mixing, which is not true. Again, it's just false. One of the if you look at look at when my mother was born in 1932. Just do some research. 1930, and then look at the year 2000, and just the year 2000. Look at the black population in terms of where it was in 1930 compared to today. That's just looking at America. Then when you look at the African continent, there are almost a billion, if not a billion, black people walking around in Africa. A billion. Now that's not counting black folks that are in different parts of the world. I'm just using the United States. Look at that population, how it has grown steadily to where it is today. It's a little bit smaller than the population of South Korea. So the black population in America is a little bit smaller than the population of South Korea, yet people are saying we are a dying race. It's just, again, it's all this hysteria. People are saying these comments did not come from the far-right Nazis or the alt-right white nationalists. Somebody said, y'all been destroying this white girl. This is a black guy. This trying to find this black boy from a football game. Y'all some real life social media bullies. And then other stuff, right? Somebody says, I'm digging it. Seems like she has an obsession or fetish with black men. I'm going to say it's a no for me, dog. She's also in a bookstore, and she was basically saying that she liked this guy. And again, I looked through, and it seemed like she does have that she likes, black dudes. Somebody says, they're not trying to hook Becky up today. Typical white girls will probably be semi-racist and toxic. Only approved ones will get the okay. Like, who are you? No one cares, really, whether you want to give someone the okay or not. So, and then this other person said they're puzzled as to why that she didn't ask him out, and then reaching out to Twitter. It makes her look suspicious for white people activities. So what I'm saying is this back and forth stupidity is just dumb. I cut people like that out. White, black, whatever. Just like the people at the escape room, not interested. Not interested in talking to you, acknowledging you, none of that. I avoid trash. And some of the comments that people were saying is trash. There's nothing wrong with this girl liking black dudes, white dudes, Hispanic dudes, Asian dudes. There's nothing wrong with a black woman liking Asian dudes, white dudes, black dudes, whatever. Right? Doesn't matter if she liked women. Doesn't matter if the dude that she circled liked dudes. I don't care. It's not none of my business, and it's not none of their business. Now, you can say maybe her tactic was a little strange, but who hasn't actually said, you know what, I think this guy's kind of, hot. But to broadcast it on Twitter, that's a little strange. I'll give you that. But other than that, I just don't see it. And the fact that she actually has a preference is not some, and they're, referencing Get Out. It's not some Get Out moment. And also, someone said some of the women who were making, the black women who were making these comments, when they looked at their Twitter account, a lot of them were dating white guys or have left Twitter remarks saying that their preference is for white dudes. But yet, this girl can't do that because she is a white girl and he's a black guy, but they can do it because they got the okay to do it. And she's only allowed if she's given the okay, if she's getting approved. It's just stupid. A lot of these people have not done anything to help their black community. Don't own a business. Don't go and visit black businesses. Don't buy and bank with black banks. Don't fix up the black community. Don't do anything. Don't try to run some sort of clinic or organize to actually fund some sort of a clinic that helps with sickle cell anemia, which is something that definitely affects the black population in this country. None of that. None of that. They don't go to places like Haiti, for example, which would welcome them with open arms to say, hey, you know what? Let me help. How can I be of service? How can, what do you need? They don't do those things. Why? Because it's all false. None of these people who are saying this type of thing, most of them either have, a lot of it is just plain butthurt. For two, it's internal inferiority complex. If you care that much, there's an inferiority complex. It's the same thing when you have white dudes who get upset for a black dude who dates a white chick or an Asian chick even, and gets all mad and says, well, you're going to be on welfare and you're going to be a baby mama and you're going to get AIDS. It's an inferiority complex. You feel inferior to someone for whatever reason. So you want to sit and talk trash about them. That's basically what that is. Now, again, I don't do videos for people to like. I don't care. 41 years old. I don't give a damn if these people that are on here or whomever else sit and say, well, you're trash, you're a sellout, you're this and that. Call me what you want. That's fine. I'll give you a small little golf clap and say, okay. But I don't put up with stupidity from anybody. I think it's just stupid. There's bigger things to deal with, more things that are much more important than about some girl in Tennessee who likes some guy in Tennessee, both of which no one who's watching this probably, and none of the people that were commenting they don't even know these two people. Not at all. Right? Don't even know. Could be that she is friends with the guy maybe. We don't know. Right? We just don't know. Yet people will jump to conclusions simply because they're triggered by what they see. This is a trigger moment. If you see a black guy with someone who is non-black, it's a trigger for people. I mean, that is almost like spitting in their own mama's face to them. It triggers people. Yet a lot of times black dudes don't care about who black chicks date. I don't care. A lot of white chicks don't care who white dudes date. They don't care. And so on and so forth. A lot of people just don't really care. As long as it's not for some stupid reason. And if it's a fetish, that's a different story. That's a problem. But to say simply because she has a preference is a fetish, I disagree. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have something. Maybe she is a bigot. I don't know. that it doesn't seem that way. Looking through her Twitter, I don't know her personally, but looking through her Twitter stuff and all that, it doesn't seem like she's hasn't left any sort of clues to allude to that, right? Anyhow, I think it's just stupid. I think it's stupid. Again, this whole woke liberal stuff is just dumb. There are some people who are saying that they're starting to second guess the whole pro-black stuff because it's all talk, and that is true. It's all talk. I go through and read stuff on other people's pages and stuff, and it is all talk. Typically, it's all talk. There's no solutions being issued. There's nothing being done to work in communities that address, domestic violence or clean up the neighborhood, picking up trash, none of that. It's just constantly wondering who's sleeping in whose bed. That's what people care about. That's their big moment. Anyhow, it's pretty simple-minded if you ask me. I see nothing wrong with the girl liking the dude. That's totally fine. Nothing wrong with her liking black men. Nothing wrong with that. There was other people saying that there's some black women who said that, yeah, I agree with you, girl. He's attractive. So it's not all black women, but there's a small segment. There's enough for it to be just stupid. And there's enough black dudes, too, that feel that way. This just makes it completely stupid. There's enough white people who feel that way. It's just stupid. Allow people to be themselves. Stop getting into other people's business. And until next time, hope you like this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I will see you. Take care.